Toby Perkins and Ed Davey. She's one of the world's wealthiest women and is believed to have an estimated personal fortune of £300 million. So what present do you buy the Queen to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee? Well, Michael Gove thinks he's got the answer. He suggested that taxpayers stump up at least £60 million to buy the Queen a new yacht. But if the nation's finances won't stretch to a gin palace, the Education Secretary could draw some inspiration from gifts given to the royals over the years. Animals are always a good option. In 1764, George III received a cheetah, while his son, George IV, was given a giraffe. But if you prefer something more practical, the Queen has received 500 cases of tinned pineapple and 7 kilograms of prawns. And Prince Charles and Princess Diana were given a ton of peat from Somerset as a wedding present. Novel idea. Kate Williams, a royal historian, is here. What do you think about the idea of a yacht, as Michael Gove has suggested?
Well, I think it's a pretty outrageous suggestion. I mean, Downing Street, I think, have suggested it's not really appropriate.
Not appropriate, they've said, isn't it?
I mean, you know, we are in austerity measures. I mean, the whole point about the Diamond Jubilee is that it's all a bit make, do and mend. We're polishing up this crown with our toothbrush and we're going to get the barge and put a bit of extra bling on it. You know, the idea that the Queen then gets an £80 million yacht, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
What would she
really
think of the idea, do you think?
Well, Jo, I think she wouldn't really. I think she'd be pretty surprised because, you know, she too is struggling. She's feeling the pinch. I mean, she's said that she can't keep up her palaces. So, you know, can you keep up a royal yacht as well? I mean, I was reading about Britannia that apparently 3 months it takes 250 boxes of polish to keep it polished. So
it's terrible,
can the Queen afford that? I don't think so. Can any of us?
It's tough at the top.
Can any of us afford that much polish?
Well, no, not for my yacht anyway that I've got in my backyard. What are some of the most sort of bizarre gifts that have been given to the royals over the years?
Well, the royals get all kinds of bizarre gifts. As you were saying, the tinned pineapple. When the Queen was married, she received a cinema, which is rather a nice gift from the Earl and Countess of Mountbatten. And, you know, they get everything. People just send stuff to the Queen. They send milk bottles, they send bits of old cake, they send biscuits.
Bits of old cake?
Well, they think she looks a bit hungry, so they send her some cake. They're a bit desperate.
Do they eat it, do you think? Does it go
well, I know the Queen's partial to fruitcake. So I really think, you know, an £80 million yacht or a bit of fruitcake, I'm sure the Queen would prefer a bit of old chocolate sponge.
So what would be your suggestion? What would you give her?
I think the Queen would be quite partial to a box of chocolates, really, and to really put her feet up because she's having an exhausting year with the coronation and the Olympics. So I think the Queen might like really to sit with the crossword and in front of the fire for a few hours. Really.
I bet she would. What would your suggestion be from the Federation of Small Businesses? What would they give her?
Well, I think the proposal to do a new royal yacht in the current climate is not a particularly wise one. If it were to happen, I'm sure many of our members would be delighted to provide the procured services for it and build it, hopefully in a British shipyard,
yes.
Because some of these things can go abroad. But and the Queen has a reputation for being fairly frugal, so I would be very surprised if she would wish to accept a gift of that nature.
Well, as you say, make it amend. Well, look, we've had a couple of suggestions here, of course, from viewers. Actually, not everyone thinks it's a terrible idea. Carl from Notting Hill says, royal gifts, you don't buy gifts to those who have everything. Ian Whiteley says, I think this idea needs looking at. Not only would it be something the nation can have pride in, it would also provide thousands of jobs at a time of rising unemployment. I suppose your point there. And Akash Masuria feels, I feel the only gift fit for a Queen is part of the public's 83% stake in RBS. It's obviously we aren't getting anything out of it.
I mean, historically, the Queen prefers cheap presents at Christmas. When we're invited to Sandringham, always remember cheap presents, whoopee cushions, novelty bath hats,
whoopee cushions,
that kind of thing. No expensive presents at Christmas. That's where Princess Diana fell foul.
What did she get?
Cashmere jumpers, and it was a big mistake. So you have to buy joke presents. So basically, I think we should all club together and buy the Queen a nice big whoopee cushion.
I remember that. No cashmere jumpers from us. Thank you very much. That's all for today. Thanks to